does not own our kids. In Centennial Elementary, the Olympia School District, a teacher tried to convince a little girl that she was actually a different gender than what she was. Because of Olympia School District's secrecy policies, like thousands of school districts across our state and across the country, those critical events were hidden from the little girl's parents. The teacher established a communication pathway with the little girl, hidden from their parents. Make sure this email is deleted too when we are done, because otherwise, when your mom looks, you will be outed instantly. I kept emailing you, but I was worried your mom interfered before you saw my messages. I was also serious. I would take you into my home anytime you need. Does that sound like communications between a small elementary school child and a professional teacher that should be hidden from loving parents? That family fled Washington State. It's exactly stories like this why parents demand that we pass this initiative to reaffirm their rightful role in the education and upbringing of their children.
This is the kind of bull crap parents have to deal with in the so-called land of the free. So when you think about America as the land of the free, you better think again, because when you don't even have the rights and the control over the lives of your offsprings, your children, then what exactly is your role as a parent? All they've turned parents into is just to reproduce. And then when you reproduce, bring forth these children, what happens? You send them to school where they groom them. After grooming them, they're being passed on to the government to do as they please. Teachers went from being able to instruct the minds of your children to grooming them in the ways of perversions. That's exactly what it is. You see, that's why you see a lot of teachers sleeping with their students, underage students, because they, like this individual say, they establish a communication pathway with the minor. Next thing you know, they're sending nudes and things like that, and convince the child to change genders. All they have to do is keep silent. Don't tell your parents about this. I won't be surprised if a lot of child trafficking scenarios, teachers are involved in that. Because that's exactly what they do these days. Groom your child. And when they've groomed them in the minds of perversions, what happens? Well, they help traffic these children. I wouldn't be surprised if that is going on. You see? And all of this is okay to do. And a lot of people still believe that America is so-called land of the free, where, you're able to do something without the government interfering. Well, think again. They're doing away with your so-called Constitution. And, freedom of speech is basically a thing of the past. Bodily autonomy, you don't even have that anymore. And now, being able to raise your children the way you want to raise your children, which is, as a parent, to make sure that their minds is not infiltrated with all kinds of wicked perversions. You see? Because children are very impressionable at a very young age. You can basically, mold their minds to be either a pervert or well-instructed mind in the path of righteousness. Which brings us here real quick in Proverbs, the 22nd chapter and the 15th verse. It says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. In the NLT, a youngster's heart is filled with foolishness, but physical discipline will drive it far away. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom to all your brothers and sisters out there that of the household of faith, beginning with the 144,000 mighty men of the house of Israel, down to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in these latter days, who are of the elect. To the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty, to you all I say shalom, right? The clip you just saw, if it doesn't infuriate you, I don't know what will. With all the craziness parents have to deal with coming up in this debt society. In other words, everything, you're being taxed for everything. You got to deal with that. You got to deal with being able to juggle between jobs, to feed your family, pay bills and all of that, right? Now, you have to worry about your child being groomed, being taught by their own very teachers to rebel against you. They're being taught to turn into a real demon. Now you know why all these children are so-called non-binary, because their minds have been messed up at a very young age. They have these teachers telling them, yeah, you can change your genders. Here it is, a teacher that's supposed to, educate you in things that are right. Because if you're supposed to be a teacher, you should know that there's only two genders. And a man will always be a man and a woman will always be a woman. That is what a teacher's supposed to do. But here they are, twisting everything. And in turn, it messes up the minds of the children. When the so-called teacher is now the one pushing perversions. And all of this is done by design, right? All of this is done by design because the whole saying, get them young, right? Because that's what they want. They want to get the minds of your children at a very young age where, where they cannot be able to, because once you program them at a very young age, it's hard for them to distance themselves from that programming. You see? And that's exactly what they've been doing. Getting into the mind of your children and just totally jacking them up. That's why we had to put the scripture out in Proverbs, the 22nd chapter and the 15th verse. It says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but a rod of correction shall drive it far from him. In the NLT, it says, a youngster's heart is filled with foolishness, but physical discipline will drive it far away. In other words, children are very impressionable at a very young age, right? You can basically tell them everything and they will believe anything and they will believe you, right? Because they don't know any better. That's why it says the rod of correction. Where do you get the rod of correction? Well, in the scriptures. This is how you instruct the minds of the young ones in the Bible, right? Because the whole idea behind the schooling system was rooted, in its inception, to teach the laws, statutes, and commandments that were in the Bible, to teach the understanding of the Bible, right? That was the whole thing behind the schooling system before they switched it. The Rockefellers came in like they always do, right? And twisted everything up. Now, they're teaching your children that they can be whatever they want to be. They want to be a dog, they can be that, all right? They want to be a cow, they want to be a cat. right? They want to be change their genders, be non-binary, whatever it is they want to be, they can be that now. This is what has been taught to your children in school, and they have these perverted individuals as teachers. You see? That's why, man, if you have the means to just, homeschool your kids, you're better off that way. Then again, now, if you do that, you're the crosshairs of the so-called government. They look at it as child abuse. Meanwhile, they are the ones doing the child abuse by allowing these teachers to corrupt the minds of your children. Right? So who is really abusing the child here? The parents that is concerned with the well-being of their child, or the teacher that is there telling them that, they can do whatever, to the point where the child can even run away from their parents and come and live with the teacher. And all of this is A-okay. Now imagine that. You understand why there is so much child abuse going on these days, especially with the teachers and students. Every day you see another teacher had an affair or whatever with a student. It keeps happening all of the time. Well, this is why. Because the teachers have turned into groomers. All these perverts now know that it's very easy for them to get to the child just by being a teacher. And a lot of the times they don't suffer any consequences because this is the state of America today. Very wicked and very backwards and very perverted. You see? So foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. In the mind of a child, you can practically convince them to do anything. But the right of correction, the instruction that comes from the Bible, will straighten them out. It will straighten them out. And here it is, when you put your hands on your child, when you discipline them for being naughty, being stubborn, you're looked at as a child abuser. But the teacher that is out there doing all this madness, is not looked at such. See, that's why parents, you have a lot to deal with. This is the bull crap they're doing behind closed doors. A lot of us, send our children to school so we can go and work. We have things to do, right? It's all done by design. While they keep you working, they work you to the bone, well, they take your child from you. They take your children from you and mold them to be perfect representation of the government. To carry out all the brainwashing of the government. Now, next thing you know, you can't even recognize your child anymore because they're nothing like the way you used to know them, right? Because they've totally detached from who they were when they were young because of teachers like this, because of events like this. Let's get another quick scripture. Yep. This is the book of Proverbs, the 22nd chapter, and the 6th verse. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will never depart from it. Just like we read earlier, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but a rod of correction will drive her far from him or her, right? So that rod of correction is the means for you to train up your child in the way they should go. And when you use that rod of correction, what happens? Well, when they grow up, it sticks with them. You see? In the NLT, direct your children onto the right path. And when they are older, they will not leave it. You understand? So now, it goes both ways. When you direct a child in the wrong path, when they are older, they never depart from it. They will still be, stuck in their ways, so to speak. So you look at a lot of this kids that came into Hollywood, all of them basically are all messed up in the head because they were instructed in the wrong path, and it's damaged them. They are now damaged goods. It is totally influenced the way they are now. A lot of them are messed up in the minds, man. Amanda Burns, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Look at the Home Alone kid, right? All messed up in the head. Who else? Britney Spears. She's done, man. Right? I mean, you know a lot of these kids. Nickelodeon, child actors, right? A lot of information came out how a lot of them were being molested right there. Bob Saget, right, that died, I believe he died a couple of years ago. It was out there. He had a lot of interviews where he was talking about what he was doing to children. And this is just nothing. See, when you train up a child in a perverted way, they turn into straight up demons, man. And we have evidences, we have proof of that through these child actors, even just regular kids out there, their minds have been messed up at a very young age. It influences them. This is how you get all these porn stars, right? Because a lot of them were touched on at a very young age. Their minds weren't instructed in the right way. See, now they're stuck in their ways. Total demon, man. So, parents, you got to do better, man. For the sake of your children, you got to do better. Now here they are to talk about how children are the future. Well, if children are the future, what are they actually doing, right? What are they actually doing? Children are the future, but look at the way you are molding their minds to be total rebels to authority, to the people that brought them into this world. And to go totally against righteousness and just be a nuisance. You see? So I got to train up a child in the way they should go. Let's finish out here. This is Ecclesiasticus, also known as the Book of Sirach, in the Apocrypha, the 26th chapter, straight to the point. The 14th verse, it says, "A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing," the point, "and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed." So nothing can compare to a well instructed mind. And that starts off at a very young age. To properly instruct the mind of a young one. Why do you think a lot of the divorce rate is just so high? Because a lot of these people are not compatible. Their minds are all messed up, right? They weren't taught, how to be proper individuals at a very young age. It's okay for women to be promiscuous. They start living a promiscuous life even at a very young age. That is not okay. Now you have a girl that's trying to sleep. She slept with 100 men. She wants to do top that and sleep with 1,000 men. What do you think that kind of thing does to the mind of a woman? That's why it says here, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. Their minds are not well instructed, you see? And there's nothing much worth as a mind well instructed. And how do you instruct the minds? Well, through, like we read earlier, through the scriptures. Because there are do's and don'ts. And the scriptures tells you how to live life to the best by keeping these rules and regulations that are in the Bible, by confining yourself to these rules and regulations. What happens? The earth will be a better place. And you understand why there's so much wickedness in the earth. Because people have strayed so far from the scriptures, from the instructions that are written in the scriptures. Now this is what we get. A total degenerate world. That is the state of America today and the world at large. total degeneracy, and it's A-OK. The people that are in positions of power, they love it so. Why? Because they are the wicked Edomites that run the show. So parents, stand on your guard, man. Care for your children more than ever. Because if you don't, somebody else is out there, coercing their minds to turn them against you. And next thing you know, you won't be able to recognize your children anymore. Stay alert. Stay alert. And with that, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone. See you next time, Lord willing. Shalom. Shalom.